Good evening, everyone, and welcome to day number 403 on our continuing coverage of the war in Ukraine, our daily updates, and all that is going there. I want to thank you for being here tonight. A lot of stuff I'm going to show you tonight that's very, very interesting, especially lots of voiceovers. We're going to look at Air Force defense spokesman. We're going to go inside Vladimir Putin's office. We're going to hear from President Zelensky. We have a full update tonight on various topics. So thank you for being here. Thank you for continuing to like, support, comment, donate, all of those things. Much, much deeply appreciated. And for a little deeper ride, jump on the Patreon. Lots of great conversation happens there and a lot of sharing of truth. So thank you as always. Let's jump to it. Now, last night I was showing you the video from Prigozhin about the taking of Bakhmut. And yes, it looks like they have taken the administrative building of Artyomovsk. Now, I'm going to teach you something, guys, tonight about this. So let's go here first. This is Bakhmut, just an updated look. The city, of course, stretches back into here. Russia's controlling a majority of Bakhmut, and they are controlling the Artyomovsk administration building. Now, they're not controlling the Bakhmut administrative building. Let me show you this here. If you zoom in, you can see the map. You see the area in red being controlled by Russia. And if you look in the color picture on the right side, the bottom half of that, you see the Bakhmut administrative building. You see the red roof, and then across the road, I'm just pausing here so you have time to look. You see the Bakhmut administrative building. You see the two little trees there. Now, the picture above that shows the Bakhmut administrative building today. There's no way you can put a flag on top of the Bakhmut administrative building because it does not exist. It has been completely destroyed. So what do we have? Yes, Russia is controlling a majority of Bakhmut. They are continuing to push, but the Ukrainians are still fighting strong. In fact, a Ukrainian replied to that claim from Prigozhin. Of course they would. So he's going to mention they're controlling Artyomovsk. They may have put a flag on the Artyomovsk administrative building. So what does that mean? Well, Bakhmut has only been named Bakhmut since 2016. Prior to that, 1924 to 2016, it was known as Artyomovsk. It's the same city. Artyomovsk renamed to Bakhmut in 2016. So that's why Prigozhin was saying Artyomovsk and Bakhmut, and now the Ukrainian soldier you're going to hear is going to talk. Well, they may have portions of Artyomovsk, but Bakhmut is still standing, and we're still here defending. So take a peek at this. Good morning, country. This is the 3rd of April, Bakhmut. There, you saw the video with Prigozhin and Artyomovsk, taking and putting a picture up that they control an administrative building. Guys, well, he may have taken Artyomovsk, but not Bakhmut. Bakhmut's still standing. Bakhmut's hanging on. Of course, if you think about the Soviet mentality, they still think if they have some administrative building, they control the whole city. But I don't know what is in their heads. And to be honest, I really don't want to know what's in their heads. I'm not particularly interested. So we work to continue to destroy evil. We continue to work. And while we are alive and plan to live, to this end, glory to Ukraine, we will win. So there you have Ukrainian soldiers' response. Of course, you saw there 03.0403.04. Of course, it's flipped in Ukraine and Europe. It's actually that date with us here in America. It would be 0403, but it's April the 3rd, and he's replying to that. They may have Artyomovsk here, but they don't have Bakhmut. We're still holding on to it and fighting. Now, what does it look like there today fighting in Bakhmut? Just a look here into a trench. I'll translate this for you. It's crazy, folks. Absolutely crazy.
Подожди, не могу автомат опустить.
Oh, I gotta keep my gun dry. He's smiling. It's a Korean soldier in the church. Laughing.
Да я не могу ногу вытащить, я медленно буду.
I can't move. I can only go slowly. It's so sticky. So that's what it looks like around the lines of Bakhmut there. It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. Now, I want to jump over here and show you this, guys. Japan, they're being a good ally. There are Japanese soldiers fighting in the Foreign Legion. There's two things that Vladimir Putin knows that he has in his back pocket. Of course, the first one being nuclear weapons, the second one being abundant natural resources, oil, gas. Finally, Japan has had to break with the G7. Japan breaks with U.S. and the allies, buying Russian oil at prices above the cap price. We knew that was going to happen. It's a shame. Japan, of course, will be a major buyer. That's a large population, very advanced nation. But that's what's happening. That's the reason, or one of the reasons, that Russia wants to drag this war out longer and longer and longer, knowing that they have resources that the world needs. So I'm not putting the boo on Japan. They've done a lot to help Ukraine, but the fact is they're going to need oil. They're going to need gas. This is the reason why the world should stand together with strong leadership and win this war. The longer you drag it out, the worse it is going to be. Now, we talked about last night, NATO welcoming Finland. Well, today, Jens Stoltenberg making it official, the flags being raised with the other nations. Pretty cool piece here.
Good afternoon. This is a historic week. Tomorrow we will welcome Finland as the 31st member of NATO, making Finland safer and our alliance stronger. We will raise the Finnish flag for the first time here at the NATO headquarters. It will be a good day for Finland's security, for Nordic security, and for NATO as a whole.
So there you have it. It's official. It's happening, and that's good. That is very good. You have to remember, Finland was a neutral nation. Think about that for a moment. Finland was neutral. Well, they're not neutral anymore. This part has definitely backfired on Putin, and that border with NATO has gotten a lot stronger and a lot longer. Now, yesterday we were talking about Zelensky being there north of Kyiv, Justice Day. Other nations came, referring to Bucha, Irpin, Gostomel, all these places where atrocities, war crimes, genocide took place. Well, one of those places he paid tribute to today. It was a basement where approximately, it was like 287 people, but just 300 people, 280 somewhere, 287, 289 people were trapped in a bunker, a basement of a building for 30 days. Many lost their lives. They had a little toilet with a bucket. They could never come out. It was a human tragedy there early in the war. Zelensky went back, paid tribute in honor to those people today, went down into that basement, looked around. And folks, how can I explain this to you, the size of these basements? I know you look at these big buildings and you go, well, that's a pretty big basement there. That it's not how it is. They're subdivided and there's only portions where you can go underground. Probably the size of a big gas station. So wherever you're at in the world, not a little gas station, but you know, the new modern gas stations that have the food centers and all that, that's about the size of these basements. Not that big. 287, 289 people, 300 days trapped. Many died, lost their lives. 59 of those were children. Just a tragedy. Zelensky paying honor to today. And he comes out of the basement and he makes a statement. Here it is. I can only add one thing after seeing all of this today. I can wish that the president of Russia would spend the rest of his days living in this basement and having a bucket like they did instead of a toilet. That's pretty much it. Thanks once again for Ukraine having the best fighters. Glory to Ukraine. Reality, friends. Then, you have the people then that start talking about, well, we can start negotiations and Zelensky and Putin will sit down together. Does it look like Zelensky wants to sit down with Putin? No. He wants to put him in a basement with a bunker, in a basement with a bucket, and let that be his bunker. That's where Zelensky was today. Now, the title of the program tonight is Inside Look into Putin's Office. That's where Zelensky was today, in the basement, paying tribute to those that lost their lives, making some comments about it. Putin's given a tour of his office. Completely different world. Check this out. Zelensky in the basement, paying tribute. Putin showing off his digs. Is there some kind of secret room here? No. There's a canteen, a break room, another office where I work with documents. Can we go take a look? Sure. But please, I warn you, I didn't prepare anything in there, so it's a working atmosphere. Your coat is hanging there, isn't it? It's a portrait of my father there. He served in Sevastopol in the submarines. The second small office is, well, this is where I work with documents. You're probably the first person I ever showed this to. Really? Right? The other office, it's out there in the open. That's where I have work meetings. And this is where I do most of my paperwork, because sometimes I work quite late. Well, how late do you work? Oh, 2 in the morning, 2:30. Do you spend a lot of nights here? Always, I'm here. Well, you got a little inside look there at Putin's office and his pictures of Peter the Great and his statues of Lenin, while Zelensky's around basements paying tribute to people who have lost their lives. Judge for yourself. Judge for yourself. Now, jumping over, the amount of drones attacking Ukraine has increased. Evidently, they have been resupplied from Iran. They are manufacturing their own. I know that Belarus is also manufacturing, but we're getting a steady supply of drones daily, working to deplete the Ukrainian air defense supplies. And this is a strategic plan. As we've shared many times, this is what they do prior to big strikes. We know that right now there are 5 ships floating around the Black Sea. 2 are carrying caliber cruise missiles. We know they're reloaded out in Russia, the Caspian Sea. Ukraine just waits for that next attack. Air alarms are constantly going off daily in different regions as they'll put the MiG-31s in the air or the Tupolovs in the air. Once again, it looks like we're getting a reset for another mass missile attack. But daily shaheeds are running right now, especially in the northern and north central regions of Ukraine. Yuri Ignat, air defense spokesperson for Ukrainian armed forces, was on TV today speaking about that. I've got a little clip of that. I think you'll enjoy that. This is from Yuri Ignat talking about shaheeds. In fact, the threat of shaheeds also is persistent. Today they are attacking us more and more from the north. They get into the area of our air command centers, which is responsible for basically the central and northern parts of Ukraine, our country. So you're telling me these Shaheeds are coming from Russia? Yeah, they're coming actually from the Bryansk region, Bryansk Oblast, near the Secha airfield. That's where they're launched from. They are launched in small batches, about 10 to 15 drones at a time, and it's clear what they do this for, right? Well, first, they determine the weaknesses of our air defense systems due to sources of information they have and they gather. They drain our air defenses. It is clear, of course, that we have to waste a lot of effort. We waste anti-aircraft missiles on these drones. Now we're using anti-aircraft mobile firing groups like MANPADS more often. We have anti-aircraft guns, all these systems, but it's hard for our guys to work at night. We have volunteers supplying equipment, people supplying equipment, but we need night vision equipment, thermal imagers, searchlights to shine in the air that would help our mobile firing teams. It's a tough situation there on the ground. So there you have it. That is directly from Yuri Ignat speaking about the Shaheeds. They're coming daily. There's 10 to 15 that are happening constantly, depleting the supplies and causing Ukraine to expend resources they shouldn't, all the while looking for weaknesses in the defense. So that is what happens when you have supply and supply and supply. We've been hearing as well that Russia is being resupplied to their front lines. They've had some hiccups. They've got internal battles with the Wagner division, the private mercenaries, but it's kind of washing out. Supplies are flowing, and now we know supplies are flowing into Ukraine also. We just need to make sure we get them all the way to the front lines, not just to Lviv, not just to Kyiv, but all the way to Kharkiv and to Donetsk region, Zaporozhye, and Kherson. So, folks, that's what you have there. I want to close tonight with a little feel-good story, and this is about Baba Luda. Baba Luda, her name would be Ludmila. Ludmila was in that region where Zelensky was touring today, and I showed you him coming out of the basement there, out of the bunker where people lost their lives. And in that area, many people lost their lives. Baba Luda had given some silver spoons to her grandchildren. The grandchildren were killed 1 year ago. Baba Luda survived. The spoons that she had given to her grandchildren were lost. Well, they were actually stolen, to be quite honest with you. Today, these were given back to Baba Luda because in the process of cleaning up and demining and doing all of the stuff that the Ukrainian military does, they found the spoons. And on the spoons, of course, had the kids' names and their date of births. The Ukrainian forces cared so much that they looked up these kids, found their family, all of that, returned the spoons to Baba Luda. Folks, that's a good story. While they're defending their homeland, fighting for their nation, they care about their people. And that is why we stand with Ukraine daily. I thank you for being here tonight. And it's a happy night for Baba Luda. She lost her grandchildren, but the spoons have been returned. So thank you for being here, and been a good night, good update. Hope you enjoy the voiceovers and the translations. Thanks, Zolik. Consider joining the Patreon because that's how we pay for all this and bless people and do that. Plus, we run all kind of conversations in there. So you guys be blessed, and we'll see you in 23 hours. You have a good night. Bye-bye.